All right. Well, today I want to welcome Daniel and Andre to the podcast. Andre, born and raised in Indonesia,
Yep.
with a diverse background. I know
Mm.
you said that that gave you a lot of sort of cultural experience. And when you came to America, you were looking for opportunity because in the food space specifically, and you've come up from being a dishwasher all the way to running and owning a restaurant. And you got a wife, you got Mona, and you have your two children, Amelia and Ray, and so you're doing a lot, right? And
Yes.
you met Daniel, one of my longtime friends and buddies, and a similar story, right? Born in Brazil,
Yes.
Korean, um, and same thing. Started as washing dishes all the way up to running a restaurant, and you're like, I need to do it for myself, and started your own business. So really interesting story. I think one of the reasons I really am excited to talk to you guys today is, really it's twofold. It's you have unique businesses that you care deeply about. You do a great job at it, and you also have families. You have children, you have wives, you have things you do outside of those things as well, and really enjoying living life and doing it passionately. So I'm excited to share your story, your journey, your struggles, your achievements, and just have a conversation about all that. So first of all, how'd you guys meet?
Well, actually, I used to work for him when in Lake Ranch location,
Yeah, that was 2012.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we moved from Tampa. My wife got to Licom. And then I'm a sushi chef too in Tampa. So when on my day off, I came to Sarasota, tried to find a sushi place for me to work. So when we moved down here, I got a job already. So I think last time I went to the Sarasota location, the original location, and I talked to Noriko. I'm looking for a job, and then he gave me your number,
Mm-hmm.
and then I remember where we met. We met at the Starbucks close by the Lacuran's location, and then you're riding your motorcycle, that that pro motorcycle. I still remember that day. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So first time I met Andre, we connected pretty quick. And then he started working. I saw the work ethic, which
Yeah.
is the most important.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, talent is very good, but the work ethics
Yeah.
to me is the most important. And from there, I knew we were gonna be friends, partners, and that's how it happened.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So I know we have a few restaurants and more coming, right? We have
Yes, we have JPAN. The first JPAN was 2008.
yeah,
So 16 years ago.
yeah,
That's a long time.
plenty of time there. I remember when I was back in the day for me.
Yep. That's probably when we met, right?
Yeah,
About 2000.
After Taekwondo, going in
Uh-huh.
there, having some lunch.
Yeah. And then we opened a second location, Main Street, Lake Ranch,
Yep.
but I sold that.
Yeah,
Then the opportunity came for UTC location. That was a very risky one because we're building from scratch
yeah,
and we didn't have money. So that was a very I'll never forget the hard times
yeah,
because it's not like we had investors or we borrow money from banks.
Mhm.
We tried to do everything ourselves. So we had a little savings. He had to borrow money from family from Indonesia.
Mm.
But still, it wasn't enough. So a lot of this stuff we did ourselves, like
yeah,
laying the tile on the kitchen. I never laid tile in my life, but we looked
Yeah.
on YouTube how to do it, and
There you
we
go.
did it.
You did it.
We had a lot of help from a friend. His name is Trent. He's an awesome guy. He's the one that helped us build the restaurant, like the woodwork. He taught us how to do
Yeah.
the uh
Sanding the wood,
yeah.
Yeah.
staining.
Kudos to Trent.
Mm.
Yeah.
Trent is awesome.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, so we have 2 JPAN locations. We have a Korean steakhouse,
Kore.
Kore, and we have another restaurant coming, and I know that's a new venture. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, so Kore is a Korean barbecue. It's more like an experience, right?
Yeah.
You come in. If you never had Korean barbecue, you'll be like, "Whoa!" That's how I want the customer to feel, like a
Yeah.
experience. The new restaurant is a Japanese sushi bar, but same way. It's a completely different experience. I've never seen any restaurant that they're doing this. What we're doing, the plans that we
Yeah.
have for this new restaurant.
Yeah.
So there's no tables. It's a big sushi bar, and you'll be ordering from the chef. The kitchen is right there in the middle, so
Yeah.
you see everything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love what you guys do. So, and I know I remember this like it was yesterday. Kore was getting finished, but still was like getting, there's some delays. And I was in there, I talked to you, and you're like, never opening another restaurant again. And then it was like the next week, like, we're doing another restaurant. So it seems like it's in your DNA. You want to keep growing. I guess my first question for both of you, I know you and Andre, you said, your history in cuisine and food, and similar for you. Why the restaurant business? Like, why did you get each of you initially into that space, and then what kept you there?
Well, that hospitality mindset, like in Asian we like to serve, like especially to the elder. I think that's it's in our DNA. It's like to being in the hospitality business, and I've been doing this for since I moved to United States. So, and when I'm start working as a in the restaurant, I'm falling in love with it already. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, it's like I don't know. It's just like having a good time with a friend. That's where I'm thinking like serving people is like having a good time with my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like inviting you to my house, cooking you some food, and serving you the best food that we have.
Yeah.
That's my mind off on the thing of hospitality.
Yeah. The restaurant business isn't easy, right? And
Mm.
anyone who's in there will say that, right? And tell you that. And you guys tell me that all the time. And I'm like,
Mm.
I really, would love to be. You're like, don't do it. But I think you have to have an immense passion for it to be done well,
Yeah.
right? The ones that don't, you see, they just don't do well. They might be functioning, but not at a high level. And every time I've experienced events you guys have done, whether it's the tuna cutting, right, or something else that you've hosted at your place, you feel that the energy, the passion, the sort of the meaningfulness behind the work you do is there, right? And not only is that, it is unique. I think that is when you have the owners highly involved in the culture and the mission and the values and the vision. But it makes a big difference with the end result, how the person feels. That's frankly why I admire you guys so much. So how did you, and why? What brought you into it?
Well, I think since I was like a early, like 14, 15, I would travel with friends, and I'll be the cook. I'll be the person in charge of buying the groceries and cooking for everybody, um, and cleaning the place afterwards. 'Cause, you know, when you're 15, 16, just the kids.
Yeah.
So I think I had that in me, and then I came to US when I was 19. First job was a dishwasher, and I just stay at the restaurant environment. Uh, you know, helper, help prep the food for the chefs, busser, and I love the high intensity, high
Mm,
uh, fast pace
yeah,
environment.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. I love
yeah.
that. I love that. So I know when you sort of, and I know it's about you, but when you're like, I got to get out of this and do my own thing. What was it about, you know, sushi, or what was it about JPAN that was like the initial inspiration to go that route?
Yes, I train. I worked at
Because
a
because because Korean, born in Brazil,
yeah.
and
There's
then hey, I got this sushi spot, right? Which is amazing. But what was it that made that happen for you? Because it's such a unique perspective on things, right?
yeah. So I first place I moved to coming to Brazil was Orlando, and I worked in the best sushi restaurant in Orlando, like the at that time. Um, and I learned the sushi art. It's an art. It's
Yeah, yeah,
all the chefs, most of the chefs were Japanese, so I learned the right way. And I just loved it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I love the culture. In Brazil, how do I explain? The largest population of Japanese outside Japan is in Brazil.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was around Japanese people all the time. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Didn't know that.
yeah. My high school, a lot of I think majority of the students were Japanese.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
So what languages do you all speak?
I speak Portuguese, Spanish, Korean, English. Yeah.
Wow.
English and Indonesian.
Well, I speak English, so great.
Well, I'm just fortunate. It's
I
not
know some
like
bad words in
Yeah.
other languages too. That's about it. I guess I learned a little bit of Korean, but not much. Um, so explain to me and share like the vision, right? So we have, I know I'm not gonna do another one, I'm doing another one. What's the vision? Maybe not just with the business, but just in general, like what do you foresee what you're building? You know, if we're looking down the road, like what's the end goal for you guys?
well, vision. I think it changes all the time. Like when we first started,
Yeah.
it was just let's just do this one, but it keeps changing, and the vision is to always be better, always build better, uh,
Keep growing.
keep growing.
Keep growing.
Yeah.
What does growth mean to you guys? Is it locations? Is it impact? Is it jobs? Like what's the for you guys, what does growth mean, I guess? Or is it just personal growth or
Well, we learn every day, so impact, not necessarily growth locations, but uh, make better what we have. And if the opportunity comes to open another location, we'll take it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's awesome. Um so how is growing from one location to multiple locations? How is that first question, I guess, how has that changed you guys, right? Because obviously having one business, okay, got this business, but now we're multiple locations. I know that you're responsible for, hundreds of people when it comes to employees and things like that. How is growing a business like that changed you guys sort of personally? What's been sort of the growth, for you guys over that time period?
I think we need to have a multiple head.
Yeah.
Like one head is being like the decision maker, enforcer, people that willing to listen and be creative. So it's like a all melting pot basically.
Mm,
Like if if we can clone ourselves, probably we can clone ourselves multiple times, so we can have everybody on one restaurant each.
yeah.
But we can't. So we just
Yeah.
have to
Yeah, trust.
trust somebody.
Yeah.
Trust people. We learn how to hire good people.
Oh, we got lots of good people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I I think the success is
yeah,
finding the right people and trusting them, and then they trust you too. That I think that's what uh a good solid company. It's
Yeah.
having good people that you trust.
Yep. And we can guide them too if they need some guidance.
Yeah. How do you think I think one of the main struggles for a lot of people when it comes to building a company is that trust, right? People that, you know, their livelihoods are dependent on the business. They might say, "Hey, I got to make a change for my own family's well-being." How have you guys, what are some things that you've sort of experienced as trust building things that you've done with your staff and your people? Because I do find, there's a lot of loyalty there, and there's a sort of familial aspect to what you guys do. How have you sort of done that, or what's like the growth? What's the growth that's happened in that space for you guys and making that like viable?
Or just personal relationships. I like that. But some, I don't know, other business owners might not think the same.
Yeah,
But I like to know everybody's family or problems. We drink together, we go out. That I think that creates the bond.
yeah,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
family culture.
yeah. What are some of your like? What are some of your core values or beliefs around having people look up to you? Like, what are some of your values around that?
I think listening to them.
Yeah,
Sometimes, we go too fast on the conclusion, and sometimes people don't listen. I think sometimes we can sit down and hear what they want to say before we make the decision in all the stuff. That's really important.
establishing that. I mean, that's part of the trust process, right?
Yeah.
They trust you're going to listen to them. There's an issue, or you're not seeing something there, maybe they're seeing, and vice versa, right?
Yeah. All issue in the restaurant or, if on the management level,
Yeah,
we wait, listen, and then we both discuss it, and then we kind of make the decision on that one.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
to lean.
yeah. I mean, that's critical. As a person myself, who I have um support staff now, and before having my own business, it was being a manager of a lot of people, and I came from being sort of their peer, and I was like, how do I lead them, but also I'm not their peer anymore. And I think all the things you're saying resonate with me, things that like were struggles for me. I was like, oh, I got to go from being a friend to a manager slash leader, but being a leader doesn't mean you just tell people what to do. So how do you do that well? Um, what are there's no success without struggle. What are some of like the sort of core struggles you guys have gone through, whether it's business or just in general, that have sort of led to where you are now, or current, or even current struggles what you're working through now?
Well, we've been very blessed. Most of the staff, you know, the first restaurant 16 years ago, a lot of the staff is still with us, so we've been very blessed. But one thing that every restaurant tour the experience was during COVID.
Mm,
That was you know, it's like, what we're gonna do now? The so we didn't know what's gonna happen. That was a struggle. Uh, we didn't wanna let go anybody during that time, so we kind of we guarantee, whatever happens, we'll take the hit
mm,
and we'll take care of you guys.
mm.
That was a struggle.
Yeah. What was the decision making process around that? I mean, or in general, like when there's a challenge in the business, what's like the process that you go through to be like, all right, let's address this, regardless of what it is.
Well, we've been uh, in every position in the restaurant. So we've been dishwasher, server, chef. So we know the struggles. We understand them because we were in their shoes before.
Sure.
So we just treat them like we wanted to be treated.
Yeah.
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 I was at a conference, and Tyler Perry was there, and he was talking about now that he runs this massive production company. He's like, but I've done every job. I don't ask somebody to do a job that I haven't done, even if it's mopping the floors. And one of the things he said, which was I think really interesting, is like, listen, if someone's like, hey, it's taking me 40 minutes to do this, you mop the floor, whatever, he's like, well, I've done it, and it doesn't take 40 minutes. It takes 15, right? But or maybe it does take 40 minutes, but it's like I've done everything. I'm not asking you to do something I haven't done.
Yeah.
So let's
Mm.
get it down to where it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing to have done. You've done it all. You're not willing to tell someone to do something you won't do,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? Servant leadership. You're willing to get in the trenches and be part of it. Like I've seen you guys, running around and doing things in your business, and you're involved, even though you have trusted people who are running operations for you now, and it's a great experience. So the other piece of it, I know you mentioned, and Andre here's jiu-jitsu master.
No.
And
From for it.
Daniel's a professional golfer.
Oh,
No, from for it.
So you both enjoy, you enjoy the art of jiu-jitsu. You both enjoy golf. Andre's our wine aficionado as well.
Yeah, I like to sip the
Yeah.
grape juice.
What are some of those things? And you guys play golf often, or how's your game these days?
I'm probably at 9 handicap, so
I haven't played for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, don't even ask me mine. I'm gonna have to bring a whole box of balls out there, and
Oh, yeah.
they'll all, maybe one of these sleeves will be there by the time we get done with the day. I saw.
just love to go out.
Yeah.
Like just it takes about 4 hours to play, so that time is just relaxing,
Yeah.
not thinking of anything.
Yeah.
The phone is still ringing, but it's still a
Right.
good time.
Yeah. Are you rolling in a lot, or?
Yes, I'm trying to roll. My goal is getting a purple belt when I'm turning 50s.
Okay.
So I have 7 more years to go. 6 more years to go.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got time.
I got time.
What belt are you now?
I'm a white belt 4 stripe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and maybe do another one competition first.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully
Before
this June.
purple.
No, I'm planning to do competition this June.
This June.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike is a black belt.
I haven't done it in a while. I mean, that's another reason we know each other, from Taekwondo.
Yes.
Master Lee.
Master Lee. Yes.
Master Lee, yeah. Yeah, I was there for a long time and taught there for a while. That was a great experience. I mean, being able to teach, kids to
Mhm.
seniors, really, and everyone's so different. But yeah, that's how we met. So yeah, you did Taekwondo,
A little bit.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have you guys duel it out on camera. That's cool. What else do you guys do to, running a business? There's stress, right? You love it, obviously, and same for me, but there's stress. You have children running around, right?
Mhm.
And there's obviously stress is there, right? You're managing a lot. How do you manage stress? How do you manage that?
So about 4 times a year, we take a little trip. It's business trip. We go to Korea or New York or China. We go places that we get inspired.
Yeah.
We go to eat, at nice restaurants. That's
Learn
my
from it. Get a new idea,
Yeah.
finding new niche.
Yeah. That keeps you sort of overall inspired to push forward. And
oh yeah.
yeah. What do you guys do on like a day-to-day, week-with-week basis to manage or balance, or manage the ups and downs of running a company, and also being there as a father? What are some of the things that have helped you there?
Oh, there's no balance. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah. Right? That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't believe work-life balance sort of exists either, even though that quote is out there. So you don't believe it exists either?
No, not yet. Not yet. When in a restaurant business, any business is evolving. It's like a living thing.
Yeah.
It can be right and then can go wrong at any time. So you always need to be alert and focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we have to drop everything that we do and then just need to handle the situation. We just have to drop the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just go handle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to at least go home early every night. At least try to see my kid before bedtime.
Yeah.
That's kind of important to me. At least put them to bed.
Yeah.
Having like one day going out with the whole family, that's
Yeah.
important too. And
Yeah.
trying to kind of spend more time in the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if there's a available time, make
Yeah.
sure you spend with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was, I had Trey Williams on earlier this week, and we're talking about being all in on things, right? And what more business owners you talk to, more people who are doing the deal, right? You find they're all in, right? And there's a lot of it's struggle with balance. I find the same thing. I don't believe really balance exists. I just believe integration exists and intentionality. Like, you guys, when you're in your business, you're in it. Like you're doing it. You do a great job. When you're with your family, you're doing that really well. Like
Exactly.
if I'm there for an hour with my children, I'm there for that hour with my children, right? If I'm rolling with jujitsu, like I'm doing jujitsu for an hour, right? Or whatever it might be. And and we talked about this earlier this week. That's how you sort of have to operate. You have to just be all in all the time on everything. And we find that seems to make it work. And the balance isn't just possible. I don't personally believe, right? If you're balancing out, you're sort of compromising on everything, in my opinion, right? So yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, 3 kids, we all have children here, right? So
Yeah.
and they require a lot of energy. But I think what you guys are doing, and I think, you're demonstrating to them hard work and dedication, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you feel are most important to pass on to your children? Because I want to talk about legacy here. Like, what are some of the things that you feel are like really important? Maybe things that you've learned from family or mentors.
I learned a lot from my father. We didn't really talk. There. So my parents, they emigrated from Korea to Brazil, but they never really learned Portuguese. So it was really hard to communicate, have a conversation with my dad.
Mm,
Right. He always worked, but I learned by watching him.
mm,
He had a clothing business. So one time I saw him cleaning the bathroom, right? Like mopping, cleaning the toilet. And I remember asking him, why are you doing this? No, it's, I need to lead by example. Like
mm.
that's the message I got.
Yeah, it's just working hard. Like working hard. Don't take anything for granted. This, um,
Honesty, work ethic. Uh, it's just so much. We are Christians, so I think that's a very was a very good impact in my life
Yeah,
to go to church and to grow up in a Christian family. Yeah, and that's what I want to teach my kids too.
sure. Passing along good values,
Yeah.
hardworking, being trustworthy. Is there anything else like from a legacy standpoint? Like if, what do you envision if someone's like, I'm leaving a legacy? Like what is the legacy that you want to leave uh around that for anybody, children, community, things like that? What matters to you guys in that capacity with what you're building now?
I don't really think too much about leaving a legacy. That's why it's hard for me to answer.
Yeah.
Um, one thing I tell my kids, just be a good person. That's
Yeah.
one thing I tell pretty much every day. When I pray at nighttime, all I ask is be a good person. But I need to develop a little bit better the legacy.
Yeah.
I want to be a little more clear too, but
Yeah.
I can't answer right now.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
yeah.
it's a ever evolving thing for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
On our end of things, I think it's the values. That's always first, right? The more and more that I speak with people and the work that we do, it's just passing along just the values. It's not always about the money or the asset, right? It's like because as long as you have the values, all that can be created. It can also be wasted away if the right values aren't passed along, right? That's why you see so many businesses that pass the generations don't really succeed, when it's passed. So I really appreciate the fact that that was the first thing that came to mind when you thought about legacy, because it really is like, what you've pulled from your family, right? Those little nuances. You're like, how do I pass that now to my children? Hard work, just being diligent, being good to people. The rest of it can come if those are sort of core. The other things that I think about when I think of you two is just this business you've built is based around those values, right? So it's a conduit now. You're able to impact so many lives because what you said during COVID, like, I don't want to let these people go, right? They're family to us. And not only have you shown you're trustworthy of those values, but you're keeping those people, financially viable and giving them good livelihoods and good opportunity. And so you're making an impact. And every time you've opened another restaurant, you're making more impact because those people are now, more people can be exposed to the work you do. Not only from a standpoint of like, these people are impacting the community with what they do from a culinary experience standpoint and bringing happiness and joy and creativity, and that's great too, because you're building experiences for people. Then you have these people that are working with you that are able to be a part of that, and they're able to live lives because of the work you're doing. So, I see that as part of what you're leaving as a legacy too. Like you're showing a lot of people who, innately in hospitality or anything else, you guys have built something, right? You're showing others it's doable, right? Because and I don't know how many people know that you were dishwashing first and, busing and then,
the American dream.
running, and then you now own this thing. And not only did you like work so hard to get here, but now you're so committed to helping the other people be okay. It's inspirational because if I'm somebody who's now dishwashing in your restaurant and I see like this is the quality of a person that did all this, but now here we are, they're doing well, right? By all sort of means of success. That's pretty inspiring. So I think you're also leaving that as a legacy, with all these people that you're impacting,
Yeah. So when I moved to Orlando, my former boss, he taught me everything. He didn't need to, right? But I learned so much from him, and I learned that that's very important to teach. If somebody, I don't know, my chef wants to open a restaurant, I'll be more than happy to teach and, what is necessary. Right now we have a staff member that opened a food truck. Last week I told her, whatever you need, let me know. We can help you. So I think you want to open a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
You can come to me, or I think you can go to any restaurateur and ask questions. They'll explain to you.
They'll tell you you're crazy first, but then
Yeah, but if you really
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Crazy. So I know you mentioned, you guys are, you are now mentors, right, to so many people. Are there any people now, whether it's sort of big figures or people in your lives now that you sort of rely on or trust for mentorship or guidance? Do you feel like, because I think what I've experienced over time is you come to a place where you think you know a lot. Like at first for me, it was out of college. I'm like, oh, I got these degrees. Like I'm smart, I know what I'm doing. And you come to find out, nothing about real life. And then you learn a bit more and you're like, okay, I'm doing well now. Like I'm finding success. And you're like, oh, I still don't really know that much when you're brought back down, to reality. And by all measures, you guys have done really well. You have a lot going on. You are teachers, right, of what you've created. And I think it's super valuable that you can help those people and that they would trust you to do that. Anybody that you two sort of think about as figure, whether it's celebrity or outside, that you feel like, hey, the values they have or, the guidance they've had have helped me, that other people should be sort of looking to or thinking about?
I don't have one specific person. I see more businesses uh, like restaurants in LA that I went there maybe 10 years ago, and at that time I said, man, this place is gonna do really well. And right now they're doing really well. So I get inspired by business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah, another restaurateur, you know, how they run the business, how they expand, how they build and manage. I think we love seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What do you think is the most important piece? I think your values we said earlier are critical, right? From a high level intangible aspect, right? The intangible of you got to have good values and good sort of beliefs. What are some of the things you think are absolutely critical, whether it's in the restaurant business or any business, that you need to have in place for it to be successful?
Honesty. I think honesty, trust. It's really important. We trust each other.
Yeah.
Uh, last week, we're doing the text, and he's like trying to cover his eyes so he don't see my text. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You know everything. It's okay.
Yeah, trust.
So
Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, you said it a few times. Your people trust you. You guys trust each other, and in business partnerships, I mean, those are tough, right? Let alone running the whole business sometimes, right? Because of differences of opinion or things like that. Have you found yourself ever like at odds with ideas or thoughts, and how have you sort of come through that?
I probably all the time, but we are very easygoing people.
We open-minded, so we talk wherever that we have any issue. We both talk about it, and we find the solution together. And trust, like
Yeah.
that's the only thing. Like I
Yeah.
trust him. Like I trust his decision. He doesn't need to my permission to change and do something.
Yeah.
And how do you know you're right? Right? Sometimes you gotta let the person do it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, well, we'll try different.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And this is your second marriage. You have you have each other, you have your wives, and you have each other, right? So that's awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on. Again, like inspired by what you both have done and what you're doing. It's really what you're living it. You're living who you are, which is, I think, so honorable. And then, what you do with your families and everything is also inspiring. So is there anything sort of final things that you'd want to leave? Like, let's say, like you said, people are looking up to you for mentorship or guidance in business. Are any final things that, let's say that, your child is watching and looking for advice, like any sort of just advice that you'd want to leave sort of at the end of this?
Well, if you work hard and you do, you're good to others, so that will attract other good people. That's I think that's my secret recipe. Just work hard and do good.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, work hard, be humble, trust a lot. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now go bust your butt.
Yeah. Just work hard.
I love it. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming in. Daniel, Andre, JPAN Kore, Deerfish.
Deerfish. Yeah.
Right. And then any other number of other ideas.
Deer, not the animal deer, fish. Deer like Dear Michael.
Yes.
Deer fish.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited. I am really excited.
Oh, it'll be the first one to be.
try.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there banging down the door to get in.